Hello, traders. It's Monday, the 23rd of September, 2019. It's 8:05 a.m. Chicago time, 9:05 Eastern. Some weird issue with YouTube. It just will not pick up the stream until I reset it several times, kind of like starting an old engine. Not my fault, but my responsibility. This is episode number 1601 today. Um, I want to remind you that derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, it is the market is in an interesting place. We have what looks like allocation to safety. Um, Allocation to safety this morning. Hopefully, you can hear me. Um, Gold is highest, up $13.50, trading at $1,528.50 or 0.9%. The bonds are next up, a handle and a tick on bond futures. The Bund is up 79 ticks. The 10 years up 14 and a half ticks, and the dollar's up 17 and a half cents. Pretty relatively bearish here. Crude oil up 6 cents, trading at 58.15. Took a bit of a nosedive this morning on the numbers out of Germany and France. The DAX is weakest. Europe has really dragged us down. Europe opened and immediately took a nosedive. The DAX is down 133 and a half points, or 1.07%. That is the lead weight that's weighing things down. That, coupled with the news that came out on Friday, in case you weren't aware, the Chinese pulled their visitors to farms in Montana early. Their delegation to farms in Montana early on Friday, causing the market to just crater, dropping from about 30.11 to 29.85. Craters may be a strong word. So that's where we stand this morning. I'll show you in a bit what that looks like in the overnight on CT Bookmap. But right now, just be aware that ECB's President Draghi is speaking. He's saying that the ECB has repeatedly and clearly shown its readiness and determination to fulfill the primary objective of achieving price stability. There are continuous comments currently. The interview can be seen, the press conference can be seen live. Earlier today, some numbers came out of, as I said, came out of Europe, and they were pretty rough. I believe the German market manufacturing PMI came in at 41.4, and it's the lowest it's been since 2006 or 9 or something. Let me scroll back in my news feed here, my trusty news feed. It says German September preliminary manufacturing PMI came in at 41.4 versus 44, estimated lowest reading since June 2009. So I was right. France September preliminary manufacturing came in 50.3 versus 51.2. I'm sure there was other news that was causing the drop there, but in either case, the market is looking like it wants to continue lower. By market, I mean the U.S. equity indices. In terms of what's on deck for today, so the theme today continues to be same. Risk off in Europe, and it looks like the Asian markets are kind of dragging near the bottom. The optimism on a China-U.S. trade deal, are just went way down. The China Vice Agriculture Minister clarified that canceled visits to U.S. farm states was unrelated to trade talks, but it seems very abrupt to pull your delegation and head home. mid-visit. So who knows? These guys are politicians, and you know how it is with politicians. So that's where we stand. In terms of what's ahead on the calendar, we do get U.S. market composite PMI 15 minutes after the open. This is a lowish tier number. Fed's Williams speaks at 9:50. ECB Draghi again is expected to speak, I guess, at 11. I'm not sure because there are comments being released right now. Um, and Fed's Bullard at 1 p.m. Eastern and Fed's Daily at 2:30 Eastern. This is what things are shaping up to be for today. Let's take a look at what we expected on Friday versus what we actually got. Now, review segment, I marked this as 1, but it's actually 2 right here. The expectation on Friday, we were opening right on top of the overnight point of control. We had a relatively weak high in the overnight, so the expectation is we would take that high out at some point. I did expect the market to revert back a little bit, drop to about 3012, and then start pushing that 3024.50 into 3025.26, potentially 3028. That was the primary scenario, which was completely wrong. The secondary scenario was the one that played out. Expect the overnight high to be taken out, pushed to about 3018.50 or so, get tangled up there, roll over, and then take out the overnight low, the prior session low, and push towards 3000. Now, the news helped that a lot. Here's what the news did for us. This is what things looked like on Friday. So we did squeeze. Look at the high. Let me change my pen color here. Look at the high here, 3018 on the dot right there. That's the IB high. Was a very tight session, really. We just had about 6.5 points of range on the IB. It's really relatively inactive on Friday. Now remember, Friday was quad witching. Thank God that's behind us. We're in a new contract now, trading December, and things are back to normal. We have a good run ahead of us into the end of the year, where for the last few years the most action has taken place near the end of the year. I expect coming into the end of this year that much news is going to continue to flow, and the market is going to continue to respond. And here we are, tangled up underneath or around this 3,000 figure, which has become the MC point of control for the S&P. So we do extend the range down. We come back to the mid right here, mid VWAP, just a cluster right there, and then boom, it releases itself down into 29.85, and we end up finishing at 29.89 and a quarter. And since then, the market has opened a little bit higher. It actually gapped up in the Sunday night open right into this low volume node, which also represents the low of the prior day. And remember, it's that 3004, 3005 area. And here we put the overnight high right at 3008 and a quarter. And then we start to roll over. Here's what the overnight session looked like on CT Bookmap. By the way, speaking of CT Bookmap, I'm doing a partner, not a partner, but I'm doing a guest a talk for Bookmap on Wednesday. It'll be during the trading day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Here's the announcement. Please look for it. I'll post the link and all that once I have it. Look for it on my Twitter feed. You can see it on twitter.com/futurestrader71. And it'll be sent out if you're on our lists. But I'll be looking at how I'm using Bookmap and looking at the market in real time. I'm not going to do any replays. Anyway, let's take a look at CT Bookmap here. Again, you can get CT Bookmap at ctbookmap.pro for trial. But we opened up in the overnight session. We opened up at the high end, pushed higher into 3008, and then just went sideways into this box in the Asian session. Went sideways, and then the Europeans come in and they just hammer on this market all the way down, and we've been consolidating since. This is a bona fide um, impulse, or for some of you, bona fide impulse, and it looks like we're holding for a continuation. There's some news. It sounds like my news feed's going ballistic here. Um, I don't know what the guy's talking about. I'm not listening, but there's some news that's just coming out, I guess. Um, so here it looks like an impulse that has not received a continuation yet to me. It looks like it wants to reach farther down. This may be another trip down to 72, 72.75 or so. So that's where we stand. On the order flow, looking at what's stacked here in terms of longer term orders, it's kind of funny. You can't see this in on any other platform really. There's this strong bid that's been sitting here all night long at 29.74ish. The depth of it is at 74. Yeah, exactly 74. And then that bid went up here. You see how it canceled and replaced. Um, the bid went up there and it got filled, and now we are pushing through it. So see if there's the goal here is to see if there's an iceberg that comes back in at 74. Again, the number I mentioned just a minute ago was 72.75, which is an important area. There's a stock zone area down here, so I'm interested in this area. In terms of long term, there is an offer, but this offer has been in play since the high was made overnight. So this is a day time frame offer. This is a day time frame offer that may be canceled if we get back up there. There is also, I'm not seeing much stacked at the 3,000 currently, and overall, it's not really. There isn't any clear indication of what the market wants to do from a full depth perspective. I'm very interested again, as I was on Friday, in the 30-17, 50-18 area, and then above there, 30-30 still offered from a few days ago. So as we crunch down the book and see what else is out there, that's pretty much all she wrote, down 29.70 or so. So that's how things are stacking right now. Let's take a look at the overnight session. Here's the overnight session. Again, back to our review segment. Here's the overnight session. You see the European drop, and then what we've done is we've held well below mid, well below VWAP, and looking kind of weak here on a double distribution profile, with the cutoff being at approximately 3,000. So 29.98 right here is the low volume node. Any push into this area, into this box up here, I'm going to look for just a short-term short at first, and look for a rotation back down, probably 3-4 points. That's what things look like so far. The overnight volume is okay, nothing tremendous, 229,000. It's a little higher than the norm. The range is pretty good though. The range has been about 26 points, which is relatively wide for an overnight session versus the norm. Okay. The overnight inventory is mixed at the moment. I don't see an edge to buyers or sellers, but the bottom is weak. Look at this profile right down here. It's not showing an excess. There isn't a very clear excess at the top, but it looks better at the top than the bottom. I expect this to be taken out. Now, I could be wrong. We'll see. Rollovers over. So who knows what is likely to come next. Let's take a look at what we're expecting for today so I can let you guys go. The first scenario for today, the primary scenario for today is it's likely to open and push that low from Friday for the extension. I'm looking for it to push down, get fought back up to the overnight point of control, run into 29.95 and yeah, 29.95.50, and then hold sideways before it might spill into the afternoon, depending on whether or not we get news. So that's the first scenario: is down, a return, a responsive buying spree, a return into the prior range that may falter or may go sideways. The secondary scenario is an open that's responsive, pushes into 29.98, comes up to 29.95, pushes into 29.98, squeezes, completes the squeeze before sellers step in and push it lower into a new low, and then sideways from there. It is Monday. It is the Monday after quad witching. There really isn't expected to be all that much volume, and I'm expecting the market to chill. Now, none of that holds true, of course, if somebody comes out and says China withdrew their farm delegation to send a much bigger delegation or something like that, and gets the market shooting higher to 30.24. The big thing to remember is just to pay attention to the key areas, the key stock zones above, and where we might test and check in either direction. The extent to which the market may fall today is 29.65. 29.65 is expected to be the key, the big area down below if we decide to push lower. But that's how things are shaping up. Again, I'll let you go now. Good luck today, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.